name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to whom all praise is due, whom we forever thank for giving us as our leader and teacher, the one who's here in America today in the person of the most honorable and humble Elijah Muhammad.
This is one of the strongest national preachers that I have in the bounds of North America. Everywhere you hear him, listen to him. Everywhere you see him, look at him. Everywhere he advises you to go, go. Everywhere he advises you to stay from. So we are thankful to Allah for this great helper of mine, Minister Farrakhan.
Attention, prayer.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat. Hayya ala salat. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. قل أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
I mean. All praise is due to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I thank Allah for his coming and intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. I thank him for the eternal leader of the nation of Islam, the most honorable Elijah. I thank the both of them for the modern day Jesus in our midst, our divine guide, our divine warner, and a divine mercy among us, the final, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I greet you in a greeting words of peace and paradise in our original language of Arabic. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Holy Qur'an 30 and 30 Qur'anic Read and Podcast. I am Sister Regina, and I am truly grateful for this divinely guided journey through the Holy Qur'an. Today, from installment number 43, we will be reading part 12. Part 12 begins with Surah 11, Ayat 6, and goes all the way through to Surah 12, Ayat 52. Once again, today, from installment number 43, we'll be reading part 12. Part 12 begins with Surah 11, Ayat 6, and goes all the way through to Surah 12, Ayat 52. Our sister Halima will begin our read. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah.
Walaikum salam. Part 12, Surah 11, Hud. Ayats. Section, subhanallah. Section 1, a warning. Ayat 6 through 8. And there is no animal in the earth, but on Allah is the substance of it. And He knows its resting place and its depository. All is in a clear record. And He it is who created the heavens and the earth in 6 periods, and His throne of power is ever on water, that He might manifest the good qualities in you, whoever of you is best in deeds. And if thou sayest, you shall surely be raised up after death, those who disbelieve say, this is nothing but clear deceit. And if we delay for them the chastisement for a stated period, they will certainly say, what prevents it? Now surely on the day when it will come to them, it will not be averted from them, and that which they scoffed at will beset them.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hud, Section 2, Truth of Revelation, Ayats 9 through 24. And if we make man taste mercy from us, then withdraw it from him. He is surely despairing, ungrateful. And if we make him taste of favor after distress has afflicted him, he says, the evils are gone away from me. Certainly, he is exultant, boastful, except those who are patient and do good. For them is forgiveness and a great reward. Then, may it be that thou wilt give up part of what is revealed to thee, and thy breast will be straightened by it, because they say, why has not a treasure been sent down for him, or an angel come with him? Thou art only a warner, and Allah is in charge of all things. Or say they, He has forged it. Say, then bring 10 forged chapters like it, and call upon whom you can besides Allah, if you are truthful. But if they answer you not, then know that it is revealed by Allah's knowledge, and there is no God but He. Will you then submit? Whoever desires this world's life and its finery, you repay them their deeds therein, and they are not made to suffer loss in it. These are they for whom there is nothing but fire in the hereafter, and what they work therein is fruitless, and their deeds are vain. Is he then like those who has with him clear proof from his Lord, and a witness from him recites it, and before it is the book of Moses, a guide of mercy. These believe in it, and whoever of the parties disbelieves in it, the fire is his promised place. So be not in doubt about it. Surely it is the truth from my Lord, but most men believe not. And who is more unjust than he who forges a lie against Allah? These will be brought before their Lord, and the witnesses will say, these are they who lied against their Lord. Now surely the curse of Allah is on the wrongdoers, who hinder men from the path of Allah and desire to make it crooked. And they desire, subhanAllah, and they are disbelievers in the hereafter. They will not escape in the earth, nor have they guardian. The chastisement will be doubled for them. They could not bear to hear, and they did not see. These are they who have lost their souls, and that which they forged is gone from them. Truly, in the hereafter, they are the greatest losers. Surely those who believe and do good and humble themselves before their Lord, these are the owners of the garden, therein they will abide. The likeness of the two parties is as the blind and the deaf, and the seer and the hearer. Are they equal in condition? Will you not then mind?
Part 12, Surah 11, Had. Section 3, History of Noah, ayats 25 through 35. And certainly we sent Noah to his people. Surely I am a plain warner to you, to serve none but Allah. Verily, I fear for you the chastisement of a painful day. But the chiefs of his people who disbelieved said, we see thee not, but a mortal like us, and we see not that any follow thee, but those who are the meanest of us at first thought. Nor do we see in you any superiority over us, nay, we deem you liars. He said, O my people, see you if I have with me clear proof from my Lord, and he has granted me mercy from himself, and it has been made obscure to you. Can we compel you to accept it while you are averse to it? And O my people, I ask you not for wealth in return for it. My reward is only with Allah, and I am not going to drive away those who believe. Surely they will meet their Lord, but I see you a people who are ignorant. And O my people, who will help me against Allah if I drive them away? Will you not then mind? And I say not to you that I have the treasures of Allah, and I know not the unseen, nor do I say that I am an angel. Nor do I say about those whom your eyes scorn that Allah will not grant them any good. Allah knows best what is in their souls, for then indeed I should be of the wrongdoers. They said, O Noah, indeed thou hast disputed with us and prolonged dispute with us. So bring upon us that which thou threatenest us with, if thou art truthful. He said, only Allah will bring it on you, if he please, and you will not escape. And my advice will not profit you, if I intend to give you good advice. If Allah intends to destroy you, he is your Lord, and to him you will be brought back. Or say they, he has forged it? Say, if I have forged it, on me is my guilt, and I am free of that of which you are guilty.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hood, Section 4, History of Noah, Ayats 36 through 49. And it was revealed to Noah, none of thy people will believe except those who have already believed. So grieve not at what they do. And make the ark under our eyes and our revelation, and speak not to me on behalf of those who are unjust. Surely they will be drowned. And he began to make the ark. And whenever the chiefs of his people passed by him, they laughed at him. He said, if you laugh at us, surely we, too, laugh at you as you laugh at us. So you shall know who it is on whom will come a chastisement, which will disgrace him, and on whom a lasting chastisement will fall. At length, when our commandment came and water gushed forth from the valley, we carried, subhanAllah, we said, carry in it two of all things, a pair, and thine own family, except those against whom the word has already gone forth, and those who believe. And there believed not with him but a few. And he said, embark in it, in the name of Allah, be it sailing and its anchoring. Surely my Lord is forgiving, merciful. And it moved on with them amid waves like mountains. And Noah called out to his son, and he was aloof. O my son, embark with us and be not with the disbelievers. He said, I will betake myself for refuge to a mountain that will save me from the water. He said, there is none safe today from Allah's command, but he on whom he has mercy. And a wave intervened between them, so he was among the drowned. And it was said, O earth, swallow thy water, and O cloud, clear away. And the water was made to abate, and their fear was decided, and it rested on Judah. And it was said, away with the iniquitous people. And Noah cried to his Lord and said, my Lord, surely my son is of my family, and thy promise is true, and thou art the justice of the judges. He said, O Noah, he is not of thy family. He is an embodiment of unrighteous conduct. So ask not of me that of which thou hast no knowledge. I admonish thee, lest thou be of the ignorant. He said, my Lord, I seek refuge in thee from asking of thee that of which I have no knowledge. And unless thou forgive me and have mercy on me, I shall be of the losers. It was said, O Noah, descend with peace from us and a blessing on thee and on nations springing from those with thee. And there are nations whom we afford provisions. Then a painful punishment from us afflicts them. These are announcements relating to the unseen, which we reveal to thee. Thou didst not know them, neither thou nor thy people before this. So be patient. Surely the good end is for the dutiful.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hud. Section 5, History of Hud. Ayats 50 through 60. And to Ad we sent their brother Hud. He said, O my people, serve Allah. You have no God save him. You are only fabricators. O my people, I ask of you no reward for it. My reward is only with him who created me. Do you not then understand? And O my people, ask forgiveness of your Lord, then turn to him. He will send you, subhanallah, he will send on you clouds, pouring down abundance of rain, and add strength to your strength, and turn not back guilty. They said, O Hud, thou hast brought us no clear argument, and we are not going to desert our gods for thy word, and we are not believers in thee. We say not, but that some of our gods have smitten thee with evil. He said, surely I call Allah to witness, and do you too bear witness that I am innocent of what you associate with Allah besides him? So scheme against me altogether, then give me no respite. Surely I put my trust in Allah, my Lord and your Lord. There is no living creature, but he grasps it by its forelock. Surely my Lord is on the right path. And if you turn away, then indeed I have delivered to you that with which I am sent to you. And my Lord will bring another people in your place, and you cannot do him any harm. Surely my Lord is the preserver of all things. And when our commandment came to pass, we delivered Hud and those who believed with him with mercy from us, and we delivered them from a hard chastisement. And such were Ad. They denied the messages of their Lord and disobeyed his messengers and followed the bidding of every insolent opposer of truth. And they were overtaken by a curse in this world and on the day of resurrection. Now surely Ad disbelieved in their Lord. Now surely away with Ad, the people of Hud.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hud. Section 6, History of Salih, Ayats 61 through 68. And to Thamud we sent their brother Salih. He said, O my people, serve Allah. You have no God other than him. He brought you forth from the earth and made you dwell in it. So ask forgiveness of him. Then turn to him. Surely my Lord is nigh, answering. They said, O Salih, thou wast among us a center of our hopes before this. Dost thou forbid us to worship what our fathers worshipped? And surely we are in grave doubt about that which thou callest us. He said, O my people, see you if I have clear proof from my Lord, and he has granted me mercy from himself. Who will then help me against Allah if I disobey him? So you would not add to me naught but perdition. And, O my people, this is Allah's she-camel, a sign for you. So leave her to pasture on Allah's earth and touch her not with evil, lest a near chastisement overtake you. But they hamstrung her. So he said, enjoy yourselves in your houses for 3 days. That is a promise not to be belied. So when our commandment came to pass, we saved Salih and those who believed with him by mercy from us, from the disgrace of that day. Surely thy Lord, he is the strong, the mighty. And the cry overtook those who did wrong. So they were motionless bodies in their abodes, as though they had never dwelt therein. Now surely Thamud disbelieved in their Lord. So away with Thamud.
Part 12, Surah 11, Had, Section 7, Abraham and Lot, Ayat 69 through 83. And certainly our messengers came to Abraham with good news. They said, peace, peace, said he. And he made no delay in bringing a roasted calf. But when he saw that their hands reached not to it, he mistrusted them and conceived fear of them. They said, fear not, we have been sent to Lot's people. And his wife was standing by, so she wondered. Then we gave her the good news of Isaac, and beyond Isaac of Jacob. She said, oh, wonder, shall I bear a son when I am an extremely old woman, and this my husband, an extremely old man? This is a wonderful thing indeed. They said, wonderest thou at Allah's commandment? The mercy of Allah and his blessings on you, O people of the house. Surely he is praised, glorious. So when fear departed from Abraham and good news came to him, he began to plead with us for Lot's people. Surely Abraham was forbearing, tender-hearted, of returning to Allah. O Abraham, cease from this. Surely the decree of thy Lord has gone forth, and there must come to them a chastisement that cannot be averted. And when our messengers came to Lot, he was grieved for them, and he was unable to protect them, and said, this is a distressful day. And his people came to him as if driven on towards him, and they were used to the doing of evil deeds before. He said, O my people, these are my daughters. They are pure for you, so guard against the punishment of Allah, and disgrace me not about my guests. Is there not among you any right-minded man? They said, certainly thou knowest that we have no claim on thy daughters, and thou knowest what we desire. He said, would that I had the power to repel you. Rather, I shall have recourse to a strong support. They said, O Lot, we are the messengers of thy Lord. They shall not reach thee. So travel with thy people for a part of the night, and let none of you turn back except thy wife. Surely whatsoever befalls them shall befall her. Surely their appointed time is the morning. Is not the morning nigh? So when our decree came to pass, we turned them upside down and rained on them stones as decreed, one after another, marked for punishment with thy Lord, and it is not far off from the wrongdoers.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hud, Section 8, History of Shu'aib, Ayats 84 through 95. And to Midian we sent their brother Shuaib. He said, O my people, serve Allah. You have no other God save Him. And give not short measure and weight. I see you in prosperity, and I fear for you the chastisement of an all-encompassing day. And O my people, give full measure and weight justly, and defraud not men of their things, and act not corruptly in the land, making mischief. What remains with Allah is better for you if you are believers, and I am not a keeper over you. They said, O Shuaib, does thy prayer enjoin thee that we should forsake what our fathers worship, or that we should not do what we please with regard to our property? Forsooth, thou art the forbearing, the right directing one. He said, O my people, see you if I have a clear proof from my Lord, and He has given me a goodly substance from Himself, and I desire not to act in opposition to you in that which I forbid you. I desire nothing but reform so far as I am able, and with none but Allah is the direction of my affair to a right issue. In Him I trust, and to Him I turn. And O my people, let not opposition to me make you guilty, so that there may befall you the like of that which befell the people of Noah, or the people of Hud, or the people of Salih, nor are the people of Lut far off from you. And ask forgiveness of your Lord, then turn to Him. Surely my Lord is merciful, loving, kind. They said, O Shuaib, we understand not much of what thou sayest, and surely we see thee to be weak among us. And were it not for thy family, we would surely stone thee, and thou art not mighty against us. He said, O my people, is my family more esteemed by you than Allah? And you neglect Him as a thing cast behind your backs? Surely my Lord encompasses what you do. And O my people, act according to your ability. I too am acting. You will come to know soon who it is on whom will light the punishment that will disgrace him, and who it is that is a liar. And watch, surely I too am watching with you. And when our decree came to pass, we delivered Shuaib and those who believed with him by mercy from us. And the cry overtook those who were iniquitous, so they were motionless bodies in their abodes, as though they had never dwelt in them. So away with Midian, just as Thamud perished.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hud, Section 9, The Iniquitous and the Righteous, Ayat 96 through 109. And certainly we sent Moses with our signs and a clear authority to Pharaoh and his chiefs. But they followed the bidding of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's bidding was not right directing. He will lead his people on the day of resurrection and bring them down to the fire, and evil the place to which they are brought. And they are overtaken by a curse in this world, and on the day of resurrection, evil the gift which shall be given. This is an account of the town to which we relate to thee. Of them are some that stand, and others mown down. And we wronged them not, but they wronged themselves. And their gods, whom they call upon besides Allah, avail them not. The decree of thy Lord came to pass. And they added to them naught but ruin. And such is the punishment of thy Lord, when he punishes the town while they are iniquitous. Surely his punishment is painful, severe. Surely there is a sign in this for him who fears the chastisement of the hereafter. That is a day on which people will be gathered together, and that is a day to be witnessed. And we delay it not, but for an appointed term. On the day when it comes, no soul will speak except by his permission. So some of them will be unhappy and others happy. And as for those who are unhappy, they will be in the fire. For them therein will be sighing and groaning, abiding therein so long as the heavens and the earth endure, except as thy Lord please. Surely thy Lord is doer of what he intends. And as for those who are made happy, they will be in the garden abiding therein as long as the heavens and the earth endure, except as thy Lord please, a gift never to be cut off.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hood, Section
9, Ayat 109. So be not thou in doubt as to that which these worship. They worship only as their fathers worshipped before, and surely we shall pay them in full their due undiminished.
Part 12, Surah 11, Hud, Section 10, Believers Comforted, Ayats 110 through 123. And we certainly gave the book to Moses, but differences arose therein. And had not a word gone forth from thy Lord, the matter would have been decided between them. And they are surely in a disquieting doubt about it. And thy Lord will surely pay back to all their deeds in full. He indeed is aware of what they do. Continue then in the right way as thou art commanded, as also should those who turn to Allah with thee. And be not inordinate, O men. Surely he is the seer of what you do. And incline not to those who do wrong, lest the fire touch you, and you have no protectors beside Allah, then you would not be helped. And keep up prayer at the two ends of the day and in the first hours of the night. Surely good deeds take away evil deeds. This is a reminder for the mindful. And be patient, for surely Allah wastes not the reward of the doers of good. Why were there not then among the generations before you those possessing understanding, forbidding mischief in the earth, except a few among them whom we delivered? And the unjust pursued the enjoyment of plenty, and they were guilty. And thy Lord would not destroy the tongues unjustly while their people acted well. And if thy Lord had pleased, he would have made people a single nation, and they cease not to differ, except those on whom thy Lord has mercy, and for this did he create them. And the word of thy Lord is fulfilled. I shall fill hell with jinn and men altogether. And all we relate to thee of the accounts of the messengers is to strengthen thine heart therewith. And in this has come to thee the truth and an admonition and a reminder for the believers. And say to those who believe not, act according to your power. Surely we too are acting. And wait, surely we are waiting also. And Allah is unseen in the heavens and the earth, and to him the whole affair will be returned. So serve him and put thy trust in him, and thy Lord is not heedless of what you do.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph. Section 1, Joseph's Vision. Ayats 1 through 6. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I, Allah, am the best, subhanallah. I, Allah, am the seer. These are the verses of the book that makes manifest. Surely we have revealed it, an Arabic Qur'an, that you may understand. So narrate to thee the best of narratives, in that we have revealed to thee this Qur'an, though before this thou wast of those unaware. When Joseph said to his father, O my father, I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them making obeisance to me. He said, O my son, relate not thy dream to thy brethren, lest they devise a plan against thee. The devil indeed is an open enemy to man. And thus will thy Lord choose thee and teach thee the interpretation of sayings and make his favor complete to thee and to the children of Jacob, as he made it complete before to thy fathers, Abraham and Isaac. Surely thy Lord is knowing, wise.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph. Section 2, a plot against Joseph by his brothers. Ayat 7 through 20. Verily, in Joseph and his brethren there are signs for the inquirers. When they said, certainly Joseph and his brother are dearer to our father than we, though we are a strong company. Surely our father is in manifest error. Slay Joseph or banish him to some other land, so that your father's regard may be exclusively for you, and after that you may be a righteous people. A speaker among them said, slay not Joseph, but if you're going to do anything, cast him down to the bottom of the well. Some of the travelers may pick him up. They said, O our father, why dost thou not trust us with Joseph? And surely we are his sincere well-wishers. Send him with us tomorrow, that he may enjoy himself and play, and we shall surely guard him well. He said, indeed, it grieves me that you should take him away, and I fear lest the wolf devour him while you are heedless of him. They said, if the wolf should devour him while we are a strong company, we should then certainly be losers. So when they took him away and agreed to put him down at the bottom of the pit, we revealed to him, thou wilt certainly inform them of this affair of theirs while they perceive not. And they came to their father at nightfall, weeping. They said, O our father, we went off racing one with another and left Joseph by our goods. So the wolf devoured him, and thou wilt not believe us, though we are truthful. And they came with false blood on his shirt. He said, Nay, your souls have made a matter light for you, so patience is goodly. And Allah is he whose help is sought against what you describe. And there came travelers, and they sent their water drawer, and he let down his bucket. He said, Oh, good news. This is a youth. And they concealed him as an article of merchandise. And Allah was cognizant of what they did. And they sold him for a small price, a few pieces of silver, and they showed no desire for him.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph. Section 3, Joseph's firmness under temptation. Ayats 21 through 29. And the Egyptians who brought him said to his wife, Make his stay honorable. Maybe he will be useful to us, or we may adopt him as a son. And thus we established Joseph in the land, and that we might teach him the interpretation of sayings. And Allah has full control over his affair, but most people know not. And when he attained his maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge, and thus do we reward the doers of good. And she in whose house he was sought to seduce him, and made fast the doors, and said, Come. He said, Allah forbid. Surely my Lord made good my abode. The wrongdoers never prosper. And certainly she desired him, and he would have desired her, were it not that he had seen the manifest evidence of his Lord. Thus it was that we might turn away from him evil and indecency. Surely he was one of our chosen servants. And they raced with one another to the door, and she rent his shirt from behind, and they met her husband at the door. She said, What is the punishment for one who intends evil to thy wife, except imprisonment or a painful chastisement? He said, She sought to seduce me, and a witness of her own family bore witness. If his shirt is rent in front, she speaks the truth, and he is of the liars. And if his shirt is rent behind, she tells a lie, and he is of the truthful. So when he saw his shirt rent behind, he said, Surely it is a device of you women. Your device is indeed great. O Joseph, turn aside from this, and O my wife, ask forgiveness for thy sin. Surely thou art one of the sinful.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph, Section 4. Joseph is imprisoned, ayats 30 through 35. And women in the city said, The chief's wife seeks to seduce her slave. He has indeed affected her deeply with his love. Truly, we see her in manifest error. So when she heard of their device, she sent for them and prepared for them a repast, and gave each of them a knife, and said to Joseph, Come out to them. So when they saw him, they deemed him great, and cut their hands in amazement, and said, Holy Allah. This is not a mortal. This is but a noble angel. She said, This is he about whom you blamed me. And certainly I sought to seduce him, but he was firm in continence. And if he do not what I bid him, he shall certainly be imprisoned, and he shall certainly be of the abject. He said, My Lord, the prison is dearer to me than that to which they invite me. And if thou turn not away their device from me, I shall yearn towards them and be of the ignorant. So his Lord accepted his prayer and turned away their device from him. Surely he is the hearer, the knower. Then it occurred to them after they had seen the signs that they should imprison him till a time.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph. Section 5, Joseph's preaching in the prison. Ayats 36 through 42. And 2 youths entered the prison with him. One of them said, I saw myself pressing wine. And the other said, I saw myself carrying bread on my head, of which birds were eating. Inform us of its interpretation. Surely we see thee to be of the doers of good. He said, The food with which you are fed shall not come to you, but I shall inform you of its interpretation before it comes to you. This is of what my Lord has taught me. Surely I have forsaken the religion of a people who believe not in Allah and are deniers of the hereafter. And I follow the religion of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. It beseems us not to associate aught with Allah. This is by Allah's grace upon us and on mankind, but most people give not thanks. O my 2 fellow prisoners, are sundry lords better or Allah the One, the Supreme? You serve not besides him, but names which you have named, you and your fathers. Allah has sent down no authority for them. Judgment is only Allah's. He has commanded you to, subhanAllah, He has commanded that you serve none but Him. This is the right religion, but most people know not. O my 2 fellow prisoners, as for one of you, he will serve wine for his Lord to drink, and as for the other, he will be crucified, so that the birds will eat from his head. The matter is decreed concerning which you inquired. And he said to him, who he knew would be delivered of the 2, Remember me with thy Lord. But the devil caused him to forget mentioning it to his Lord. So he remained in the prison a few years.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph. Section 6, The King's Vision Interpreted by Joseph. Ayats 43 through 49. And the king said, I have seen 7 fat kine, with 7 lean ones devoured, and 7 green ears, and 7 others dry. O chiefs, explain to me my dream, if you can interpret the dream. They said, confused dreams, and we know not the interpretation of dreams. And of the 2, he who had found deliverance and remembered after a long time said, I will inform you of its interpretation. So send me. Joseph, O truthful one, Explain to us 7 fat kine, which 7 lean ones devoured, and 7 green ears, and 7 others dry, that I may go back to the people, so that they may know. He said, You shall sow for 7 years as usual, then that which you reap, leave it in its ear, except the little which you eat. Then after that will come 7 years of hardship, which will eat away all you have beforehand stored for them, except a little which you have preserved. Then after that will come a year in which people will have rain, and in which they will press grapes.
Part 12, Surah 12, Joseph. Section 7, Joseph cleared of the charges. Ayats 50 through 52. And the king said, Bring him to me. So when the messenger came to him, he said, Go back to thy Lord and ask him, What is the case of the women who cut their hands? Surely my Lord knows their device. The king said, What was your affair when you sought to seduce Joseph? They said, Holy Allah, we knew no evil on his part. The chief's wife said, Now has the truth become manifest. I sought to seduce him, and he is surely of the truthful. This is that he might know that I have not been unfaithful to him in secret, and that Allah guides not the device of the unfaithful. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Surely Allah's word speaks the truth.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. All praise is due to Allah for the divinely guided journey through the Holy Qur'an, the completion of today's reading. We will close out in prayer, after which we will have brief announcements.
Attention prayer.
Our Lord, punish us not if we forget or make a mistake. Our Lord, do not lay on us a burden as thou didst lay on those before us. Our Lord, impose not on us afflictions which we have not the strength to bear, and pardon us and grant us protection, and have mercy on us. Thou art our patron, so grant us victory over the disbelieving people. O Allah, you are the most forgiving, and you love forgiveness, so forgive us. Surah 113, Al-Falaq, the Dawn. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the Dawn, from the evil of that which he has created, and from the evil of intense darkness when it comes, and from the evil of those who cast evil suggestions and firm resolutions, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. Surah 114, Al-Nas, the Men. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of men, the King of men, the God of men, from the evil of the whispering of the slinking devil who whispers into the hearts of men from among the jinn and the men. Allah, there is no God but He, the ever-living, the self-subsisting, by whom all subsist. Slumber overtakes him not, nor sleep. To him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth. Who is he that can intercede with him but by his permission? He knows what is before them and what is behind them, and they encompass nothing of his knowledge except what he pleases. His knowledge extends over the heavens and the earth, and the preservation of them both tires him not, and he is the Most High, the Great. Nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah. He is one and has no associate. His is the kingdom, and for him is praise, and he has power over all things. O Allah, there is none who can withhold what thou grantest, and there is none who can give what thou withholdest, and greatness does not benefit any possessor of greatness as against thee. O Allah, we beseech thee for help and seek thy protection, and believe in thee and rely on thee and extol thee, and are thankful to thee and are not ungrateful to thee, and we declare ourselves clear of and forsake him who disobeys thee. O Allah, thee do we serve, and for thee do we pray and prostrate ourselves, and to thee do we betake ourselves, and to obey thee we are quick, and thy mercy do we hope for, and thy punishment do we fear, for thy punishment overtakes the unbelievers. O Allah, guide us among those whom thou hast guided, and preserve us among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriend us among those whom thou hast befriended, and bless us in what thou hast granted, and save us from the evil of what thou hast ordered. For thou dost order, and no order is given against thy order. Surely he is not disgraced whom thou befriendest. Blessed art thou, our Lord, and highly exalted. O Allah, continue to bless, strengthen, and protect the Holy Qur'an 30 and 30 Qur'anic Read and Podcast. Bless each and everyone that logs into this sacred space for the recitation of the revealed word of Allah. Bless each and every one individually and collectively, and the families that we represent by being present. Bless each reader lending their gift of voice in this sacred space. Continue to provide sustenance, healing, protection, guidance, comfort, and the light of understanding.
O Allah, I seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief, and I seek thy refuge from the lack of strength and laziness, and I seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness, and I seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice thou me with what is lawful. Keep me away from what is prohibited, and with thy grace, make me free from want of what is beside you.
O Allah, we beseech thy help and we ask thy mercy, for we believe in thee and trust in thee for all that we need. And we are helpers in thine cause with thine apostle. Grant to us success. Bless us, O Allah, to find the path of unity, that we as a people may come together as one, fearing no one but thee, and recognizing only that in thee there is life for thee and thee alone. but the only reality. O Allah, we ask you to bless our old and our young, those who are present and those who are absent. Bless us to struggle for true liberation, not only liberation economically and morally, but liberation spiritually from the shackles that bind our minds to false ideas and concepts. And let us grow strongly in love with each other, that we love for our brother what we love for ourselves, and that we do unto no one that which we would not have done unto ourselves. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and what we ask in his name. Ameen. Brothers, Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! God is the greatest, and there is nothing deserving of worship or praise but the Almighty God. Thank you for listening.
Assalamu alaikum, Allahu Akbar. All praise is due to Allah for the divinely guided journey through the Holy Qur'an, the complete reading of part 12. We are grateful to Allah for each and every one logging into this sacred space for the recitation of the revealed word of Allah. We began the call this morning, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, with Final Call Radio. We heard a compilation of messages delivered by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We also heard excerpts from the minister's music project, Let's Change the World. It is a beautiful project with multiple CDs and a book. I have it myself and I do enjoy it very much. We also were favored with NOI Healthy Minute, delivered by our sister, Dr. Sophia. Join us tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, for another lecture or a music mix, followed at 6 a.m. by the reading of the Holy Qur'an from installment number 43. We are nearly 4 years reading revealed word consecutively. We'll take an audio-visual journey through Part 13. Part 13 begins with Surah 12, Ayat 53, and goes all the way through to Surah. Join the divinely guided audio-visual journey through the Holy Qur'an 30 and 30, Qur'anic Read and Podcast, daily, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, for a music mix or a lecture, followed at 6 a.m. by the reading of the Holy Qur'an. Join us by way of Zoom. Meeting ID 975-290-9214. Passcode HQ30. Would you like to help out behind the scenes with a gift or a talent or desire to read in this sacred space? Call us on 718-715-8344. Look for us on social media, the Holy Qur'an 30 and 30. Log into YouTube, the Holy Qur'an 30 and 30. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Surah 30, Ayat 30. So, set thy face for religion, being upright, the nature made by Allah, in which He has created men. There is no altering Allah's creation. That is the right religion, but most people know not. I mean, all praise is due to Allah. Once again, thank you for sharing in this divinely guided journey through the Holy Qur'an. We will continue with a lecture delivered by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, or I should say, an interview with the minister conducted by Cliff on WVON. Stand by for that. Pardon me. Stand by for that interview. Assalamu alaikum.
And the that man, Muammar Gaddafi, came to power in Libya, not in a coup that killed people. It was a bloodless coup. And when he took power, America was there. Britain was there. They had bases there. They control the sweetest crude oil in the world from Libya. And if you notice, when you go to the Marine song, you know, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, right. We will fight our country's battle on the land and on the sea. What were you doing in Montezuma and what were you doing in Tripoli? See, this attitude that somehow Western powers have a right to the resources of weaker nations in Africa, in Central and South America, Gaddafi rejected that notion. And under Reagan, he was called, the media called him the mad dog of the East, of the Middle East. Mad dog. Well, what do you do with mad dogs? You killed them. And I told you in 1985, I had an experience that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me, on that wheel, you take it or let it alone. That Reagan had met with his Joint Chiefs of Staff to plan a war. He didn't tell me where the war was going to take place or who the war was planned against. But he told me to hold a press conference and make it known that I got it from him, Elijah Muhammad, on the wheel. Well, I didn't know exactly where this war was, but I kept watching how things developed. And while I was on a world tour, I was in Belize in Central America, and President Reagan came on the television announcing that no Americans should go to Libya. No Americans should do business with Libya. That's when it started. When I got to Africa, by the time I was in Ghana, it crystallized for me that it was Libya that America was going to war with. So when I got to Benin, I sent my family home and got on a Aeroflot Russian jet and flew to Tripoli to warn Brother Gaddafi of what America was planning to do. Yes, I did that. Why? Because that man was a friend of the nation. He was a friend of Elijah Muhammad. He helped Elijah Muhammad get the mosque on Stony Island Avenue originally. He loaned us $5 million to put personal care products up for the members of the Nation of Islam. And I know him as a revolutionary. I know him as a man that has helped governments throughout Africa. He helped the IRA. He helped others. So others did not like him for his revolutionary stand. He finally kicked out the British. He kicked out the Americans. He took the oil and then used it for the benefit of the Libyan people and he wrote in his green book that he saw the future of the world in the hands of black people.
We'll be back. That's a good segue into my next question. Okay. Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable, is in our studio, and we are going to be taking calls. You can also go to Facebook.
More intelligent conversation with the Governor of Talk Radio.
It is 4:55. I'm Cliff Kellye on the Talk of Chicago as we continue our conversation with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And that sweet violin you heard was him. that was the minister. Not my favorite piece that you did. I love Mendelssohn when you did that. But that was a great event for your birthday.
I'm just completing an album.
Oh, are you?
And on that album, the minister is surrounded by some of the greatest musicians, black, white, Jewish, Gentile, Asian, Buddhist.
You know why I'm so happy to hear that? Because I know what happened last time. I was involved in that meeting. Remember that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. These folks supposedly were going to accompany you, and they pulled out, and we had a heck of a conversation relative to that. But a lot of them came anyway.
We had a great evening.
Yeah, we did.
And I hope
it was wonderful
that you'll be looking out for the album.
Right. Well, you know
when
I will.
It comes out, because some of the finest artists. Do you remember little Jimmy Scott?
Sure, certainly.
Well, we recorded Jimmy. Yeah. He was 83 years old. We recorded Shaka, and the last person, believe it or not, when we were doing something with Shaka in Hollywood, into the studio walked, Tina Marie.
Oh, okay.
And Tina presented me with a poster, not a poster, a painting that she did while she was going up and down the Nile River. And she gave me a record, and she said, Minister, I just want to be on your album. I mean, you'll be surprised who's on it. And so she gave me this record, or CD, and when I was back in Michigan at the farm, my son and I were driving. He said, Daddy, you need to listen to this. And it was Tina Marie singing a song called A Message to the Black Man. Wow. And so by the grace of God, Tina may be on that album, and I'm going to put a violin part on there with her. And unfortunately, we lost a great soul. But getting back to Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah, I'm saying the music threw us off, yeah.
Dear listeners, look, whatever you may think of him, most of our thinking of great black men or white men that power does not agree with, the media has always been used to destroy their image and their reputation. You can go down the list. I don't want to waste a lot of time on that. But Gaddafi had so much respect for Gamal Abdel Nasser and Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah that when the African, the AAU
right.
Was functioning, Gaddafi advanced to the AAU the idea of Kwame Nkrumah, which is the United States of Africa.
Right.
And I was with Gaddafi when he said to the people of the AAU, we cannot compete in this world with 53 independent states all acting individually. So he spent money to foster the African Union, leading to the United States of Africa.
And he's the head of the AU now.
No, he was.
Oh, he's not anymore.
2 years ago. It's only on a yearly basis.
Okay, I know he was. I didn't know whether he still was or
so
not.
to harm this man, because you're angry with him, I know I want to get, when this break is over, I want to get to the pain of civil war.
We will do that right after we come back. And those of you on the line, please hold. And you can also go to Facebook. I'm Cliff Kellye on WVON, the Talk of Chicago, with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Good afternoon. It is 5:10 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON, and we are so pleased to continue our conversation with none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is in our studio, and we're always pleased to have him. We're honored to have him. And our call-in number is 591-1690, and of course we're streaming live at www.wvon.com. And we're going to take some calls in a moment, and also you can go on Facebook if you want to get a question in. All right? Brother Minister, again, thank you. And I want to go right into the situation with our President, Commander-in-Chief, Obama, and his treatment of the situation in Libya. And I recall what you said on Savior's Day. I thought it was so interesting. It said all of this turmoil that's going on in the world will come to your shores here in America. So sort of like you were saying, get ready for it because it's going to come here. And then you told the president, you said be prepared because it will be coming to your shores, America, to your door, you said. And your advice to Obama was to remember the words you're making to other nations.
Well, today, our dear brother, has to be very, very careful in this decision that he and his Secretary of State and Sarkozy and Prime Minister Cameron and others are planning. They would love to go into Libya and kill Brother Gaddafi and kill his children, as they did with Saddam Hussein and his sons Qusay and Uday. You must remember, dear people of America, that whenever government wants you to think and act in a certain way that would bring justification to an action that they are already planning to make, they must make the person that they hate a boogeyman. Now, nobody wants civil war. It is the bloodiest of all kinds of wars because you're fighting your own brothers. You're fighting the people of your own language and culture and history. So in every nation, brothers and sisters, there is dissatisfaction. And what the CIA does is go into a country and move among the people that are dissatisfied to stimulate a revolt against a leader that they don't like because they want regime change. I want to be specific. When George W. Bush was president, he said they wanted regime change in Iran, in Korea. Regime change. How do you get regime change, honest America? How do you do that? Congress, the Congress of the United States, voted to spend $150 million to replace the government in Iran that America doesn't like. So they send their agents in to work among the, the dissatisfied. So when they had this election and the people in Iran rose up, they have legitimate grievances, all right, but stimulated from the outside. So President Obama didn't want to put his foot into that cage lest somebody say America inspired it, because it was America's policy to destabilize that government. Well, what about Libya?
Libya. Mm-hmm.
See, how much money is being spent to arm the so-called rebels? Mm-hmm. They're dissatisfied. Well, what is their dissatisfaction about? Do they have jobs? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do they have food? Yes. Mm-hmm. Has Gaddafi used the oil money to build Libya? Yes. Did Gaddafi use oil money and discover water under the Sahara Desert and brought that water to the surface and brought water from Benghazi all the way to the border almost of Tunisia? Did he impose farming in the desert so that they could feed their own people? Yes. Are there billions of dollars that he's spending building homes, building apartments for his people? Yes. So something is under this. And so when America, England, France, three imperialist powers want to destabilize that country, is it that you're so concerned? Now listen to this hypocrisy, American people. Is it that you're so concerned over the blood that is being shed in Libya when you look the other way when the Israeli Defense Force was bombing the innocent people of Gaza? Unarmed men, women, and children, but our government looked the other way? You looked the other way when the Israeli Defense Force went into Lebanon thinking that they were going to have an easy victory? Then you had to come out with your tail between your legs? Don't tell me and wise black people or white people that you're interested in black suffering. Where were you in Rwanda? Where are you in the Congo? Why did you go to Darfur? Because oil is there. No, you don't want to save the Libyan people. That's your noble motive to hide your wicked agenda. Now, I want to warn you in the name of Allah that this is more complex than what you think. Go into Libya if you want to. The Libyans do not want foreign occupation on their land. And when you make that kind of move, if you're not careful, you'll unite the Libyan people against you. And again, Gaddafi wasn't sitting in any tent twiddling his thumbs over these last 10 years. This man has been investing in African development. This man has been moving throughout Africa. This man has friends all over the world. He may not be your friend, but if you take him out and kill him like he's some rotten fella that wants to kill his own people, what did you do in Waco? Right. What did you do when your people rose up? Did you talk them out of it? No. They had weapons, you bombed them. What did you do in Philadelphia with the movement? Did you talk them out of their home or did you bomb them? We didn't hear any outcry from you religious hypocrites that love the lives of human beings. You're a liar and a hypocrite. And I warn my brother, don't you let these wicked demons move you in a direction that will absolutely ruin your future with your people in Africa and throughout the world. They don't like the way you handle Mubarak. They don't like the way you're handling the situation in the Arab world. So I would advise you to be careful and move with wisdom and skill. My advice would be, why don't you organize a group of respected Americans and ask for a meeting with Gaddafi? You can't order him to step down and get out. Who the hell do you think you are? that you can talk to a man that built a country over 42 years and ask him step down and get out? Can anybody ask you? Well, there's a lot now going to ask you to step out of the White House because they don't want no black face in the White House. Be careful, brother, how you handle this situation, because it is coming to America. It has already started. Look in Wisconsin. Look in Ohio. Look at what's going on in your country, and remember your words, because the American people are rising against their own government. It's not Muslims, it's not black people, it's white militia that are angry with their government, and they are well armed. Are you going to tell them, put your arms down and let's talk it over peacefully? I hope so. But if not, America will be bathed in blood, not because Farrakhan said so, but because the dissatisfaction in America has reached the boiling point. Be careful how you manipulate the dissatisfaction in Libya and other parts of the Muslim world.
The Honorable Minister, Louis Farrakhan.
More intelligent conversation.
It's 5:24 on the Talk of Chicago, and I want to say this, that our wonderful guest has said, you know, it's Thursdays, and for those of you who are regular listeners, you know I get off a little early on Thursday because we have the show, the Urban Business Roundtable. So he is going to stay with me and us until 6:23, okay? And we have a special caller here. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Mr. Governor of Talk Radio, and good afternoon to you, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, this is none other than the Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright, who is on our live line. He wanted to talk to you, Brother Minister.
Good afternoon, my dear and beloved brother. How are you, and how is your family?
Doing fine, sir. Doing fine.
Well, I want to express on behalf of myself, my family, all the members of the Nation of Islam, and thinking black people, how much we love you, and we thank God for the womb of your mother and the life germ of your father that produced such a great, magnificent, scholarly, activist. I tell you, I don't know what other kind of names I can give my brother, but he's just great preacher, teacher, and guide for our people.
He's also a very kind man because he hadn't said anything about me that was negative, which you Doctor, I'm going to take care of that, okay?
Okay.
All right. You sent me the information. We've been a little busy, but I'm working on it.
All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Keep listening, will you please?
Will do.
All right. Dr.
Love you, Doc.
Oh, he's great. Dr. Jeremiah Wright. He has done so much, and his knowledge. It's the two of you together.
He's a scholar.
Oh, he is.
You know, the American people really misjudged him, and the media was so vicious.
Yeah.
In the way you went into that man's church and pulled something out of his sermon to use it against Barack Obama and to force a split.
Yep.
This man loves this country, and he fought for this country. He was a medical officer and took care of President Lyndon Baines Johnson. And to talk about a man that made such a contribution to America and a contribution to the least of these, and made his church the front line of service for our people. I think we owe him a great debt of gratitude, and the media owes him a great apology.
I agree with that. Let's take a caller. I had another question for you, but we are going to take a break shortly, so I'll take the caller first. Sister Rita is calling from Las Vegas. Hi, Sister Rita.
How you doing, Brother Kellye? I would like to thank you for having an opportunity to talk to you, as well as having Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, on your talk show. I also want to say I went to Savior's Day. I brought my family, and it was such a beautiful time. I want to thank the MGP and the FOI. They was beautiful, Minister Farrakhan. They treated the people like excellent. Thank you. My question I want to talk about today is, if you notice, if you read in the Bible of St. John, where the great, wonderful Jesus, he everywhere he went to speak, the Jews followed him and they spoke against him. And even every time he said, I speak of not my will, but of my Father's will, the Jews mocked him. They called him a fornication. And he pointed out that they had two different fathers. He said that ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth from the beginning. So I wanted to ask Minister Farrakhan to speak on this, and the question I wanted to ask was, what did Jesus say to get him crucified? And also you talked about the dollar, and you said that on the back of the dollar there was an original signet that was supposed to be there, but it spoke of how Moses was there parting the sea, and how the Caucasian took that off there because it would have alerted the black masses of what the dollar really meant, and how we was never really free in the Constitution. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk to you, and it's so excellent, Brother Kellye, to hear your voice again.
Thank you so much, Sister Rita. Thank you for your call. We're gonna have the minister respond to you.
I'm just going to speak very briefly.
Can we do it as soon as we come back?
Sure.
Okay. We'll respond, Sister Rita, right after this break for the news.
More intelligent conversation.
It's 5:37. I'm Cliff Kellye. This is The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON, streaming live at www.wvon.com with our great in-studio guest. We love him. He honors us with his presence a number of times, and we certainly appreciate it. He is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, head of the Nation of Islam. And Sister Rita called from Las Vegas. Can you respond?
Yes, just briefly. Mm-hmm. The whole history of Jesus is one that really needs to be studied, because as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, 75% of what you read is prophecy. 25% is history. So what you look at 2,000 years ago is the historical Jesus who was a prophet, who prefigured the future Jesus who would actually be the Messiah. And when the Messiah comes, he comes to bring in a brand new world and civilization. So he's not loved. His followers are not loved. And so, yes, they followed Jesus around and they hated him because he did good. And in the Qur'an, it reads, which of my good works do you stone me? Our teachings takes thugs off the corner and makes them civilized. Our teaching cleans up pimps and prostitutes. Our teaching stops people from selling drugs. Our teachings go into the colleges and universities and help them to be responsible for the ignorance of our people so that we can unite and lift the masses of our people. This is our teaching, and those who have profited from our ignorance didn't like Jesus, and unfortunately today they didn't like Elijah Muhammad, my father and teacher, and they don't like me.
Let's go to Minister Rogers in St. Louis. Thank you, sir. You're on the Talk of Chicago with Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, thank you, brother, and I appreciate this opportunity. Minister Farrakhan, I want to say, from me and from my family, I want to say thank you for loving black people and all people more than life itself. And, Minister, you have proven your point with an angelic voice of truth. You have proven your point. Yeah, the people who constantly debate and want to argue with you, they need to understand that ruling white people have always used the media and laws and money to justify any treatment against black people. And I wanted to also say that, I thought about something that Jerry Lewis said, how that many times, the Jews are trying to put you on the defensive. But, Jerry Lewis said something when they accused him of stealing the money from the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation. He said, to those who are my friends, they need no answer, no explanation. He said, but to those who are my enemies, no answer will suffice. And Minister, I say that anyone that has heard you over a period of time, and I want to thank Minister Donald in St. Louis for doing such a good job of keeping me informed, anyone that has heard you over a period of time knows that you speak the truth. And therefore, if the white people or black people want to debate, they're debating just because of debate, because the truth has been proven. And finally, I'd just like to say this. I asked a dark-skinned man who's a businessman in St. Louis who grew up near Libya. I've known him for a long time. He owns a gas station in St. Louis, and I pulled over when I heard about the atrocities taking place in Libya. I asked him, I said, man, tell me something. Look, what should I believe? Is Gaddafi good for the people or evil? This man left out of his business, came around from behind the counter and walked outside and talked to me. He said, look, Gaddafi wants to unify Africa. He is good for the people, and the people love him, but the white folk do not want him there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Well, I think you have said I don't need to say more.
Mm-hmm.
The one word that touched me was that you love truth more than you love life. And that is true, because when you speak truth in the manner that God impassions me to do, always there's a chance that you may lose your life. But the best way for any human being to spend their life is to spend their lives in the cause of truth. All the great ones that came before us gave their lives for truth. White, black, Asian, if you spend your life in the cause of truth, life will remember your life, and history will record you among the greats.
And that's what you are, sir. Let's go to Ram from the east side.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. It's an honor to talk to Minister Farrakhan
Wa alaikum salam.
Great Cliff Kellye.
Thank you.
I do the Underground Railroad TV show that comes on CAN TV. But I want to ask you a question. My question is, you have individuals that have been indicted, okay, like Alderman Virgil Jones, okay, Jesse Evans, okay, and Ricky Hinder stepped down. Why is there such an attack to get rid of black leadership when they're standing up strong? And I know you know Alderman Virgil Jones, but why is there such an attack like that? I appreciate this.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, brother.
That's the question that wanted to come up anyway, about black leadership in general.
Well, I want to say this, that we're in a second period of Reconstruction. You remember after the Emancipation Proclamation, black people were the artisans, the craftsmen. You could hardly find a white man during slavery with a hammer, a saw in his hand, because all that work was done by us. We built the mansions in the South, so when we were set free, we were the artisans, we were the craftsmen. Did you know that there were 60 black towns that started after emancipation? Blacks voted in blocks and put black people in office in the South, and we were in the Congress. And when whites saw that the economy of the South was being ruined because we made them rich off of cotton, oh man, in this book, let me stop 1 second, because this is so important. Did you know the great betrayal of 1877? Have you heard about it? Did you know that in November of 1876, Samuel Tilden and Rutherford B. Hayes, Republican and Democrat, went against each other for the presidency of the United States? And after the election, there was controversy because no one knew really who really won. So in January the 26th of 1877, the American Banking Association met. They were discussing taxes, and they met again on the 7th. But on February 26th, they met in the Wormley Hotel in Washington. And what was the discussion? Samuel Tilden represented the cotton barons in the South. Rutherford B. Hayes represented the rich people of the North, and they compromised. And here's what the compromise was. If Rutherford B. Hayes were allowed to be president, he would remove all the federal troops out of the South and return the economy of the South into the hands of the cotton barons. And the North, of course, would get the presidency and whatnot. So when the troops were moved out of the South that protected blacks, then the Ku Klux Klan rose, the Night Riders, lynchings, and all of this happened. Blacks were pulled out from their positions of power. Black towns destroyed so that blacks would have to go back on the plantation now as sharecroppers, because you couldn't call them slaves, but you fixed it so they really were not free. And so today, it's second Reconstruction period. Okay, blacks, over 500 of them mayors, you've got a few governors, you've got a black president, oh man, you've got chiefs of police, oh, you got us in the Justice Department, and white folks sitting back, not intelligent ones, the more sick ones, they're saying, look, these Negroes have taken over our country. We have to take our country back. Take it back from who? Do you think that a manager of white affairs who manages your affairs and gives you a profit and has no stock in the company, you got to take the company back from him because he's a face on the corporation that says you hired a black man with intelligence? Stop it. Black folk haven't taken your country, but if you look deep enough, I'll tell you who your country has been taken from. It's been taken from you, not by Obama, not by Holder, not by black people. It's been taken over by those who control Congress. Oh, hello. Are we talking about corporate interests? Are we talking about Israeli Zionists? Who are we talking about? What about these congressmen that's supposed to represent the will of the American people and are afraid to say anything critical of a member of the Jewish community lest they be put out of power? Let me run the roll here of all of those who have been called anti-Semites. Some of them you might know. Let me see. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, President Nelson Mandela, Bishop Desmond Tutu, Julian Bond, Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, as we knew him years ago, Andrew Young, Kwesi Mfume, the Reverends Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Joseph Lowry. Yes. All you got to do is say something critical and you're brushed with that stroke that you're an anti-Semite. Carter criticized Israel's treatment of the Palestinians. He's an anti-Semite. Well, will the real anti-Semites please stand up?
When we come back, I want to ask you about ABC 7 and whether they misquoted you or not. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
More intelligent conversation with the governor of Talk Radio.
It's 5:54. Cliff Kellye with Minister Farrakhan, and we was talking about the situations with being anti-Semitic, and so many people have been accused of that. Tell us about what happened on ABC 7. A lot of people said that they thought you were misquoted on there by Mr. Gowdy and Mr. Lassiter in the final call.
No, I don't think that Mr. Gowdy misquoted me. I think ABC quoted me, but they picked out of a 4-hour speech something that would make their point. And then, of course, from what I saw, he went to Mr. Lassiter, and in some part of Mr. Lassiter's answer, it said that the book was a pack of lies, and he said that we probably need to sit down and dialogue with Mr. Farrakhan. And when I heard that, I said, oh, I'm sure he didn't get that one from Mr. Foxman. So when Chuck Gowdy asked our new mayor, Rahm Emanuel, would he be willing to meet with Farrakhan, I thought his answer was brilliant, because he said, well, if I'm asked, I'll deal with it then, but I don't want to answer through you. Mm-hmm. No disrespect to you. Mm-hmm. So I think he made a wise statement.
Well, you've been asking to meet with leaders of the Jewish community for years.
Yeah, but, there are conditions. And the conditions are, Farrakhan, you have to apologize. You have to denounce secret relationships as a calumny against the Jewish people. And I mean, please don't come to me with those conditions, because I can't bow down and come to you on bended knee like you are my master. I only have one, and that's God and his Mahdi or his Christ. I don't have any other master. So unfortunately, we're going to have to meet on terms of mutual respect and equality, man to man. And I think we should. I think the time is overdue. And I would hope that you would be wise enough to sit down and let's talk about this and see if we can't work something out that will be mutually beneficial for both our people. Lastly on that, I wrote to Mr. Abraham Foxman. I sent him the book, and I sent him a letter which I CC'd to all the major presidents of the major Jewish organizations. I sent this book to our President Barack Obama. I did send it to our new mayor, Rahm Emanuel. I sent it to David Axelrod. I sent it to Timothy Geithner. I sent it to Larry Summers. I sent it to Ben Bernanke, and of course he sent it back. And I sent it to all of the black leadership that I could think of, and I did get a letter from Congressman Towns, and he was very nice, but he told me that I should never, and he didn't say it like that, but you can't expect a dialogue when you're threatening people. See, but you don't know my mission. Yeah. I'm not before you as some Negro leader. I am from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I am a warner to you from God. And when I say to you, look, if you fight me, you're not fighting me, you're fighting the God of heaven that I answer to. And I said, if you continue to do this, he will destroy your influence here and throughout the world. I'm just like all those prophets. Some of them you killed, but this one, not hardly. You killed your last when you killed Jesus, my brother.
Thank you so much. When we come back, we're going to ask you to tell us, among other things, we'll take a couple of calls, Brother Minister. Or maybe we can put out, maybe you and the mayor-elect can meet right here, WNVO.
No, I would never do that, Cliff. This is so sensitive.
I know. I'm just
when
saying.
people get behind microphones with cameras, they feel they have to show out.
Oh, well, we wouldn't have that
but
anyway.
This is a serious discussion that should be done in private. And if there are things that we mutually agree upon, then we come out in the public and say to the public, look at the strides that we have made.
Brother Minister, I was being facetious. That would never happen from his part either, believe me. Believe me. We'll be back with more calls, and I have another question about where black people should be going.
Voice of the Nation, 1690 WVON.
Good evening, good evening. It's 6:09. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON, and we are so pleased that the minister has consented. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan consented to stay over until the end of the show, which on Thursdays, for those of you who are familiar, is till 6:23, and then the Urban Business Roundtable starts after that. And let me also mention to you that I want to remind you, or tell you, because this is just great, that those of you who might have missed something can go to my personality page after 6:30 and see the live video on the minister's conversation here. And I want to mention, this is something that was very important. Well, everything you said was, on Savior's Day, it's time for America to free blacks, indeed, and support separation. And it's time for blacks to work for their own salvation.
Well, Cliff, you know, our leaders, and rightly so, are demanding of the United States government that they produce jobs for us. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said and wrote in the Muhammad Speaks that they cannot provide jobs for their own millions of unemployed and our people as well. And with our children dropping out of school, uneducated, ill-prepared, and they're putting on television that jobs that pay money are the jobs in engineering and architecture. And if you look at how many blacks are in engineering and how many blacks are in architecture, and now even the engineers and the architects are being laid off. There are no jobs, brothers and sisters, for you and me. So where is our future if we're depending on a benevolent white president or a benevolent black president to try to make jobs for you? President Obama would have to have the skill of 1,000 Houdinis to produce enough jobs for white people and us too. And if the jobs were produced, as history has shown us, it'd be more for them and less for us. So what we're saying is that we need some earth that we can call our own. There are 14 million Americans out of work. 16% of black people are unemployed, 12% Latinos, and the unemployment rate generally is 9%. So brothers and sisters, if we really want to prepare a future for our people, we have to think in terms of land. And while I'm on the subject of why land is important, did you know that Henry Kissinger, our former Secretary of State, now I want you to listen to his words. He said a few years back that we needed to cull or get rid of over 2 billion human beings on our planet because the resources are getting more scarce, the population is getting more, and white people are getting less on the planet. Black and brown and yellow are multiplying. So to cull 2 billion. Now these are the people, remember, who are interested in Gaddafi killing some folk. I have in my hand words from Zbigniew Brzezinski, the former United States National Security Advisor under President Carter. He was giving a speech in 2008 to the Council on Foreign Relationships. Listen to his words. For the first time in human history, almost all of humanity is politically activated, politically conscious, and politically interactive. What are you saying, Mr. Brzezinski? That group that wants one world government and control of all the resources of our planet is saying that the people are rising, they're awakening so much so that we are losing control. Then at the end of his talk, he said, in early times, it was easier to control 1 million people than to physically kill 1 million people. But today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. It is easier to kill than to control. Now, having those words in your heart and in your mind, why is the AIDS pandemic so strong in the black community? Why is the black-on-black rape and crime so heavy in urban centers all across this nation? Why do we lead in all areas of disease, heart disease, diabetes, stroke? You name it, we got it. We are dying, and the poor are dying not only in America, but in Central America, South America, Africa. They are culling the population of the planet. So don't you be deceived by Sarkozy, the Prime Minister of France, with all those Muslims in France and a declining white population, and Miss Merkel of Germany or Mr. Cameron of Great Britain. They are witnessing the decline of white populations in Europe. And in 50 years, they're saying that Europe won't be white anymore. So now, how are they going to survive? If they're dying without nobody killing them, they're just not producing. So white supremacy says, kill those who stand in the way of a future for us. So my dear brothers and sisters, land is critical. And so we are engaged in learning how to build hoop houses in the middle of the city so we can provide healthy food for ourselves and our families, and do this in our own backyards or lots in the city that are not being used. And they just passed a law in the Congress that eventually will forbid us from growing our own food. They are killing the American people through the food that we consume. So until we take our mouths out of the kitchen of these corporate giants, we will all be dying an untimely death. And in conclusion, I want to say to my dear and beloved sister, Rihanna, I never would call you out of your name, nor did I. You represent black womanhood. You represent what our people can become once we become a dignified people. Do you know that civilization is not measured by the man? Civilization is measured by the woman. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, when you have no decent women, you have no decent men, for the woman is the mother of civilization. So if you want to raise black people, then you have to elevate the black woman. So Hollywood has designed this for you, that black men should be lazy, shiftless, rapist, the chicken thief, the fat mammy, the cunning whore, the shiftless, dull, listless, and inferior Negro. These have always been the stock in trade of Hollywood entertainment industry. So when you remember Step and Fetch It, when you remember all of our black performers of yesterday, we had to come in a certain way in order to get exposure in Hollywood. And now today, when you look at our comedians, when you look at the roles that we're playing, it's step and fetch it all over again. They put you on television, they make you rich, and you think that money makes what you do right. No. You're rich, Rihanna. You're rich, beloved brothers and sisters, but don't let richness deceive you into thinking that what you're doing is right. And may God bless us.
In our last few moments here, Brother Minister, we've had a number of people through Facebook and also on the screen, and I'm sorry we obviously can't get to everybody, about developing young black leadership. There are many people who think you're the one who can do this, but what do you say about that? We're in trouble.
We are in trouble, but there's a new crop of young black people coming up that are fearless, and all they need is the right guidance, and we will have a great future. Harry Belafonte was speaking at Howard, and he was so surprised that the students at Howard did not know recent African American history, much less previous African American history. And so they don't want Farrakhan on the college campuses. In fact, they've made it a terrible thing to invite me. But I was invited to Howard University on the 1st of April, and I'm going, paying my own way, bringing my staff. I'm not asking for any honorarium. My black students are the honorarium. Can I close with this quote from Mr. Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of this great country?
Slave-owning.
Wasn't he a great slave owner?
He loved his female slaves particularly, didn't
naturally.
he? Yes.
Naturally. Now, Mr. Jefferson said this. Now listen to his words. Blacks should be colonized to such place as the circumstances of the time should render most proper, sending them out with arms, implements of household and of handicraft arts, seeds, pairs of useful domestic animals, to declare them a free and independent people and extend to them our alliance and protection till they shall have acquired strength. Now, if this is what Thomas Jefferson said years ago when the problem between black and white was festering, and Abraham Lincoln, bless his heart, he told us straight up, you suffer from being in America with us, and we suffer from your presence. So he was offering black people to be sent either to Africa or Central America. Now, look, I know you're thinking, brothers and sisters, I ain't going nowhere. We helped build this country. Yeah, you really did. But listen, there's no future for you begging for a job. So suppose we put the Muslim program before Congress and ask the Congress, look, you don't have any future for us. And rather than our staying here and you just killing us off, putting us in jails under these little specious little charges and then working us as slaves, why not let us go and give us a good send-off? And you know what? We will thank you for that. And think about an alliance between black America and white America on some land that we can call our own. You've done this for Israel. Don't say you can't do it for us. We built the country. We fought, bled, and died to maintain your freedom. Think about it. Don't deceive us because we have a black president. No, no, no. He'll soon be out of office. And where's he going? He got to come back home to the hood and bring blessed Michelle and the babies. And maybe he can lead black America. Maybe he can lead black people all over the earth if he doesn't make mistakes in the way he handles the Mideast and Africa. Thank you for listening.
You are
Thank
wonderful.
You
Love
for
you.
allowing me
Love
this
you
privilege.
so much.
Thank
it's
you.
It's our privilege. Thank you so much. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, everyone. Stay tuned to the Talk of Chicago and Urban Business Roundtable.
Alhamdulillah. That concludes the extended version of the Holy Qur'an, 30 and 30 Qur'anic Read and podcast. We were listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on Cliff Kellye's audio on his show discussing so many of the issues. Join us tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, for another lecture or a music mix, followed at 6 a.m. by the reading of the Holy Qur'an. Continue to invite others in this sacred space, someone with you. Enjoy your day, family. Stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.